The four states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. Another sunny but cool day to enjoy today. Michael Hayslip joins us with a first look at the forecast.
Yeah, luckily not as cold as what it was yesterday morning, as we're already throwing up some 50s up there, a whole bunch of high 40s as well. Let's go 50 in Joplin, 52 in Chanute, and 49 in Carthage. As far as our precipitation goes, we've been able to stay out of it this morning, remove the sweeping radar. Every now and then, rogue raindrop coming through, but certainly nothing that's going to get in the way of the morning commute. Nice light and variable wind. Big difference there temperature-wise as it finally has shifted now and got the arrows that are coming in from the south, coming in from the north, coming in from the west. Just kind of just spinning around. But the nice thing is it's relatively calm out there. Going to get sunshine today. Got a chance for a slight little raindrop to come through, say about 10, 11 a.m., but then it doesn't get organized until it gets on the other side of the Mississippi. Great looking afternoon, up into the high 60s. As far as that system that we were just talking about, it's going to push off to the far east. And then Friday afternoon, kind of the same thing, it just sprints right through. Nothing widespread. Still looking at the possibility of some rain here over the weekend, though, with the warming trend pushing us up into the 70s and 80s. But Saturday morning is going to be great. Saturday, most of the afternoon. Then we get some rain that works in Saturday night into Mother's Day morning. But after that, we begin to clear off, and Mother's Day afternoon and evening still looking great.
All right. So just a slight chance for today.
Yeah.
Nothing to worry about too much. All right. Thanks, Michael. More senior citizens get to see friends again as senior centers reopen. The Area Agency on Aging has reopened senior centers in Jasper, Newton, McDonald, and Barton counties. And there are some changes. Visitors are asked to social distance and wear masks. Capacities are limited and activities are happening on only certain days of the week. Even with the changes, visitors are happy to be back.
We're just thrilled to come back. See all of our friends.
I kept telling them all, as long as we don't, get too close to each other, it ought to be all right. And I really did miss it. And all of these people.
Since each of the centers has its own schedule that could differ from the others, the Agency on Aging asks that you call ahead to see what their schedule is. The Kansas Department of Labor is beginning to recover after fraudulent unemployment claims swept the state last year. The state had to shut down its unemployment benefits site due to the number of fraudulent claims coming through the state. Estimates from an audit conducted earlier this year suggest upwards of $600 million paid out by Kansas in fraudulent unemployment claims. Those claims even impacted Pittsburgh State University.
So when we did receive notice, we immediately reached out to the employee just in case they did not get a notification. In some cases they did not. So we made sure and made personal contact with them. We gave them what was called a unemployment insurance fraud guide.
Dryling says fortunately the university has not directly paid any fraudulent unemployment claims. Area tribes are pitching in to help PSU train the four states' next generation of child care providers. The Miami, Ottawa, and Shawnee tribes are making an annual $600,000 contribution to the university. That money will be used to fund scholarships for students enrolled in one of two early childhood programs at PSU. The contributions will be made for 2 years. Joplin Police Department is investigating a fire that happened early yesterday morning on South Florida Avenue. The fire department says when crews arrived, they found the single-story house with fire and smoke showing. Crews put it out quickly. No one was hurt. Authorities say someone was inside, but they escaped safely. Montgomery County, Kansas deputies arrest the suspect in an Independence, Kansas bank robbery. Authorities say the robbery happened around 1 yesterday afternoon at the Equity Bank in Independence. Later, a deputy was directing traffic near an accident and saw the suspect's vehicle drive by, so the deputy gave chase. Eventually, the suspect lost control of his vehicle and ran, but was arrested. Formal charges have not yet been filed. Cherokee County's K-9 unit and deputies are a little safer thanks to a donation from Spike's K-9 Fund. The fund donated an Ace K-9 Hot and Pop Pro and heat alarm for Deputy Nate Jones and his K-9 partner Bear. The equipment allows the deputy to monitor the temperature in his car and turn on AC or roll down the windows if things get too hot. It also allows Deputy Jones to remotely open the back doors of his patrol unit if he needs to get Bear out quickly in an emergency situation. The equipment is valued at more than $1,300. Esports, or competitive video gaming, has been steadily growing in popularity until it was supercharged by a pandemic that kept countless people home and in front of their gaming consoles. According to SafeBettingSites.com, the global esports audience is set to reach 474 million viewers this year, with the viewership growing by almost 20% since the COVID-19 outbreak began. Local teams saw a part of that growth.
During the height of the pandemic here, when real sports weren't happening, esports provided an outlet for students to still interact and cheer on students here at Fort Scott playing and competing when there wasn't any other way to do that at the time. So we saw a huge increase in our Twitch viewership.
SafeBettingSites.com also says esports are estimated to generate more than $1 billion in revenue in 2021. It's 5:07.
It's clear early Thursday morning skies. Great shot of the moon and stars out there. 47 in Neosho. Let's roll 47 in Parsons and 49 in Miami. So that's about 10 degrees warmer than what we were at this point in time yesterday. Day planner with sunrise at 6:18 and plenty of sunshine after that. Wind is going to increase as we get into the later afternoon hours. It'll go 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusting out of the northwest up to 20 miles per hour. Anything that we get rain-wise is going to be a quick hitter for this morning. It's going to be very spotty. Majority of the 4 states remains dry, setting up for a great afternoon and a very nice overnight, as well as we're managed to stay in the 40s headed into Friday.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, a CDC warning to unvaccinated people.
The U.S. should soon see a dramatic drop in the number of COVID cases. I'm Laura Podesta with what the CDC says it'll take for that to actually happen.
Plus, last night was semi-final night at the Class 2 District 6 softball tournament in Mount Vernon. We'll have highlights. And Ethereum is surpassing Bitcoin when it comes to growth this year. What's behind the rise in popularity and value? You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Missouri Southern's Hallie Blackney named MIAA Coach of the Year as Blackney led the Lions to a 28-13-1 overall record this season in her 3rd year at Southern. 28 wins, the most for MSSU since 2002. Their 19 conference wins, the most in program history. Blackney led the Lions to the number 3 seed in this weekend's MIAA conference tournament and did so after being picked to finish 11th. That's right, 11th in the preseason poll. Preseason and polls don't matter, folks. More honors from Missouri Southern softball shortstop Josie Toffey, a first-team All-MIAA selection. Great in the field and also hit a team-high .410 with 13 doubles, 2 triples, and she drove in 32 runs. 8 Missouri Southern players and 3 from Pittsburgh State earned all MIAA honors, and you can see them all in this story on our sports page at KOAMNewsNow.com. Last night's semifinal night at the Class 2 District 6 softball tournament in Mount Vernon. First on the schedule, Lamar Tigers taking on the hometown Mountaineers. Mount Vernon coming off a first-round bye as the number 1 seed in the bracket. First inning, Harley Daniels up the middle, Hadley, Cornell, Josie McKechnie score. Daniels goes for 2. Gotta like the aggressive base running though. Mountaineers take a 3-0 lead after the first. Then Cornell, 2-out hit to center. Kylie Stockton and Paige Evans are gonna score. And she ain't stopping. In the 3rd with the triple. Daniels lights out in the circle, 14 strikeouts, including that one to end the game. Mount Vernon, 6-0 shutout win and advances to today's final. Other side of the bracket, good one against College Heights and El Dorado Springs. Danny Ogle lined it up. 2-run home run. And 2 outs, College Heights, 2 outs. Jaylene Johnson out to left, same spot for a double. We got 2 to tie it up. El Dorado's got an answer, and her name is Macy Mays. she goes to the fence, and she's not stopping. Mays with an inside the park home run. El Dorado Springs dominates early, but get this. College Heights scores 6 in the 7th inning and wins it 14-10. This weekend is the final weekend of the regular season for the Missouri Southern baseball team. Lions hosting a 3-game series against Rogers State with a doubleheader on Friday and the series finale on Saturday. Southern 20-10 in the MIAA right now. That ties them with Pitt State for 3rd in the league standings. Things are setting up pretty good. Lions are on track to host the first round of the MIAA postseason tournament series. And after that, the Final Four of the conference tournament will also be in Joplin. That'll all be nice, but first, taking care of business this weekend, that becomes Southern's top priority.
You know, there's a lot to be determined. These 3 games are going to be important for, you know, us, Pittsburgh State, NSU, Central Oklahoma. So there's a lot going on, a lot shifting. So it should be a fun weekend.
We're in a great position to put ourselves in to host the first weekend. Then we get to have the conference tournament here. Next weekend's always going to be great. And then you don't want to look forward too much, but I feel like we're in a good position potentially getting to a regional too, so we can go out and keep playing good baseball.
Still to come on the KOAM Morning News, the rise in cases comes as the country's vaccination rate declines.
India's COVID-19 outbreak gets worse as hospitals scramble for oxygen. I'm Greg Palcott in London. That's my story coming up.
And to check on our 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Hi, this is
Right at 5:17 on this Thursday morning. Perfect time for weather on the 7s. Nice, calm, and not too cool is the big difference from yesterday. We've got 49 right now in Joplin. Let's roll 47 in Parsons, 51 in Nevada. What a difference a morning makes here. Double-digit increases temperature-wise compared to what we were at 5:17 on a Wednesday morning. 14 degrees warmer there in Carthage. Absolutely no complaints when you step outside with the wind that's just kind of shifted. Light and variable, though. For the most part, hardly even feel it blowing right now. SKYWATCH storm tracker remains calm. Had a little rain up in the northeast right there. Pay attention to what we got out here. Nothing's going to be organized, and any raindrops that we do see, they're just going to fly right through. And by the time we get to the mid-morning, we'll be done with everything. Sit back and enjoy what's going to be a great Thursday afternoon, because the old trough of the jet stream, it's now pushed on the other side of the Mississippi, and it's being replaced by 2 high pressure systems that are rolling in right there, and that results in sunny skies and pretty calm weather. One thing we will see is an uptick in the northwest wind. That'll happen later on this afternoon. Despite the fact that we're calm right now, we'll go about 10 to 15 miles per hour for the afternoon, and then throw up some 20-mile-an-hour gusts as well. Now, this afternoon, speaking of, going to make it up into the high 60s, if not, see a 70 every now and then. Saw a couple 70s yesterday, so it actually turned out to be a great afternoon. And then clear skies as the wind calms down with sunset at 8:12 and temperatures dropping back into the 40s there for Thursday night into Friday morning. Give you an idea about future track. Everything really wants to kind of start right here on the far eastern edge of Missouri before it makes its way into anything organized. And so that's why we just get nothing but a little bit of cloud cover. Now on Friday, similar in nature to what we're talking about today, it could just fly right through there, be done by the afternoon and evening hours. Don't let that hamper your Friday plans either. That's that line that we were talking about that wants to develop here out by the Boot Heel and then make its way through the Ohio River Valley. 7-day forecast after we get done with Friday. We're looking at a warm Saturday. Get a little Saturday evening rain that takes us into Mother's Day. But then even with some rain on Mother's Day, should be able to clear out for the afternoon and end up with partly sunny skies. Time now to turn our attention to the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll, where for more than a decade, Bitcoin has dominated the cryptocurrency world. But a new coin is soaring in price and emerging as the next big thing in digital currency. It's called Ethereum, and it's now outpacing Bitcoin and going mainstream. Here's a look at what experts say is behind the recent jump in popularity and value.
Move over, Bitcoin. The world's second most valuable cryptocurrency is soaring to record highs. Ethereum, or Ether for short, has seen its price quadruple this year. On Monday, Ether topped 3,000 for the first time ever. That's more than a 350% gain this year.
I started seeing and feeling it in January.
And this has just been a constant.
Some experts like entrepreneur Gary Vaynerchuk say Ether is taking off as more young investors look to diversify their crypto investments.
The Robinhood phenomenon, right? The Reddit community, like every 17, 19, 22, 14-year-old thinks in investing terms.
Another reason behind Ether's rising popularity, Ether is the main currency of choice used to buy non-fungible tokens known as NFTs. These are digital assets popular in the arts and sports collectibles world, and more investors like Vaynerchuk are jumping into the NFT mania. On Wednesday, he launched his own digital art collection called VFriends, linked to Ethereum.
I'm going to use this platform the way that Transformers and Thundercats used toys, the way that Pokemon used playing cards. I'm using the medium of NFT to stand up my intellectual property.
And while some financial experts warn that just like Bitcoin did in 2017, Ether may have risen too much too fast and a major plunge is possible, many adopters say they're cautiously optimistic.
You have to be super careful who you trust in cryptocurrency. There's still a tremendous opportunity to make money in crypto, and I'm still going to take advantage of that.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Ethereum has a combined market value of almost $400 billion for all its coins currently in circulation. Our question to you is, would you be willing to pay for things using cryptocurrency? You can vote at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. We'll be back with Health Watch next.
Topping Health Watch this morning, the CDC is reporting an average of over 4,000 deaths every week from COVID-19, but it's possible that number drops to fewer than 300 by July, according to new research. CBS's Laura Podesta has more on that, plus what people are looking forward to this summer.
The U.S. could soon see a dramatic drop in the number of COVID-19 cases, hospitalizations, and deaths, according to new projections from the CDC.
In good news, the models projected a sharp decline in cases by July 2021, and an even faster decline if more people get vaccinated sooner.
CDC Director Rochelle Walensky did offer a warning if unvaccinated people don't wear masks or socially distance.
Variants are a wild card that could reverse this progress we have made.
The Biden administration hopes 70% of the country will be at least partially vaccinated by July 4th. Health experts say the margins could be razor thin.
5 or 6% could be the difference between, really having protection as a society versus still having a lot of active cases out there.
As the country reopens,
the more people get vaccinated, the more they feel safe to come in.
Some are working to overcome their nerves after a year inside.
Ask yourself what you used to love doing. Did you love going to the museum? Did you love a specific store at the mall? It'll also give you something to look forward to, even if there is a little bit of anxiety and stress.
For Margalie Blackman, it's a visit to the park with her family.
I was actually just telling my son today, I'm like, we're going to be out a lot more this summer than we were last summer, so get used to it.
For others, it may be a trip to the ballpark. In New York, vaccines are being offered to people attending Mets or Yankees games. Fans who get a shot will be given a free ticket to a future game. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
To help fight the virus overseas, the Biden administration is supporting a World Trade Organization proposal to waive intellectual property rules. It will allow countries to manufacture their own vaccines based on the ones from Pfizer and Moderna. A blood test may help doctors determine more accurately how close a woman is to going into labor. Researchers at Stanford say they have developed a technique that analyzes a woman's immune signals and allows them to narrow the delivery period to 2 weeks. Doctors believe they can get even more precise as they perfect the technique. A study in the British Medical Journal is linking ICU admissions to future self-harm. While the overall risk is low, researchers say younger patients with a history of psychiatric illness are most at risk as those who receive invasive life support. Let's look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Temperatures in the high 40s and low 50s right now, about 10 degrees warmer than what we had yesterday morning, and we're going to get that warming trend underway. A whole lot of sunshine after it rises at 618 over Joplin, mostly sunny skies and highs in the high 60s. Northwest wind will pick up, going to come in at 10 to 15 miles per hour. It's calm as can be right now. It's delightful outside, but we'll get it up to 10 to 15 here this afternoon with some gusts of 20 miles per hour. As we push toward the weekend. Any rain that we do see going to be about mid-morning, push in, push out, last maybe, I don't know, half an hour. Everybody's going to, majority of everybody's going to stay dry. It's going to be very, very spotty. Then we get some 60s and 80s on Saturday, and still looking at some rain Mother's Day morning.
Area senior centers are reopening after being closed for more than a year. What they're doing to keep visitors safe. Plus, the state of Kansas is making changes to its unemployment benefits site, how Pittsburg State was affected by fraudulent unemployment claims, and Joplin police investigate a house fire.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach. We've got another sunny, cool day with a slight chance of rain. Here's Michael with a first look at the forecast.
Yeah, can't complain about anything this morning, though, as we've got 49 in Joplin, 46 in Miami, and already 53 in Nevada. SKYWATCH storm tracker remaining clear. That's just picked off the sweeping radar. If you see a raindrop on the windshield this morning, that's about all it's going to amount to. Wind is nice and variable and calm. We're not fighting anything this morning. And enjoy that, because we are going to see an uptick in it coming out of the northwest by the time we get done with the afternoon hours. Afternoon hours are going to lift us up into the high 60s, and the sunshine's sticking around. Really not going to see a whole lot of cloud cover emerge until we get to Friday. It'll move in from the west, and similar in nature today, any rain that does drop in is going to move right through. We're not looking at anything organized nor sustained. We'll leave that east of the Mississippi for the next 2 days. Rolling into Saturday, going to be a great start. Pick up some rain, maybe even some rumbles of thunder there Saturday night into Sunday. But then for Mother's Day, we're going to clear off for the afternoon and evening hours and finish the weekend in fine fashion.
That's right. Looking forward to Mother's Day, at least in the afternoon.
Countdown is on.
All right, thanks, Michael. More senior citizens get to see friends again as senior centers reopen. The Area Agency on Aging has reopened senior centers in Jasper, Newton, McDonald, and Barton counties, and there are some changes. Visitors are asked to social distance and wear masks. Capacities are limited and activities are happening on only certain days of the week. And even with the changes, visitors are happy to be back.
We're just thrilled to come back. See all of our friends.
I kept telling them, well, as long as we don't, get too close to each other, it ought to be all right. And I really did miss it. And all of these people.
Up, and down, and swung behind.
Since each of the centers has its own schedule that could differ from the others, the Agency on Aging asks that you call ahead to see what their schedule is. The Kansas Department of Labor is beginning to recover after fraudulent unemployment claims swept the state last year. The state had to shut down its unemployment benefits site due to the number of fraudulent claims coming through the state. Estimates from an audit conducted earlier this year suggest upwards of $600 million paid out by Kansas in fraudulent unemployment claims. Those claims even impacted Pittsburg State University.
We did receive notice. We immediately reached out to the employee just in case they did not get a notification. In some cases they did not. So we made sure and made personal contact with them. We gave them what was called a unemployment insurance fraud guide.
Dreiling says, fortunately, the university has not directly paid any fraudulent unemployment claims. The Joplin Police Department is investigating a fire that happened early yesterday morning on South Florida Avenue. The fire department says when crews arrived, they found the single-story house with fire and smoke showing. Crews put it out quickly and no one was hurt. Authorities say someone was inside, but they escaped safely. Montgomery County, Kansas deputies arrest the suspect in an Independence, Kansas bank robbery. Authorities say the robbery happened around 1 yesterday afternoon at the Equity Bank in Independence. Later, a deputy was directing traffic near an accident and saw the suspect's vehicle drive by, so the deputy gave chase. Eventually, the suspect lost control of his vehicle and ran, but was arrested. Formal charges have not yet been filed. Dozens of athletes from Southeast Kansas competed yesterday at Pittsburg State University. Special Olympics Kansas hosted the regional SEK track and field event at PSU's Plaster Center. The events include relays and high jump. The biggest hurdle, though, came from the pandemic.
It's taken a lot of work for us on different waivers, different liability, different policies to be able to get back out here. We're excited. We've come a long ways, and with the reopening of things, and our athletes and volunteers doing a great job of following the guidelines, we're back.
Special Olympics Kansas will also host the adult regional SEK track and field competition at the Placer Center on May 26th. Esports, or competitive video gaming, has been steadily growing in popularity even before it was supercharged by a pandemic that kept countless people home and in front of their gaming consoles. KOAM's Mike Mahoney spoke to local esport coaches and players to learn more about their competitive gaming experiences here in the 4 states.
Esports have been growing in popularity on a global level, but the coronavirus gave them a real shot in the arm. According to SafeBettingSites.com, the global esports audience is set to reach 474 million viewers this year, with the viewership growing by almost 20% since the COVID-19 outbreak began. And local teams saw a part of that growth.
During the height of the pandemic here, when real sports weren't happening, esports provided an outlet for students to still interact and cheer on students here at Fort Scott playing and competing when there wasn't any other way to do that at the time. So we saw a huge increase in our Twitch viewership.
And many local players are welcoming newcomers with open arms. Players from the Crowder College and Neosho High School esports teams spent their Thursday fighting for their schools by playing the latest Super Smash Bros. Game. And they say thanks to esports, they have got a lot more friends.
It's absolutely a great way to make friends. I mean, already you're signing up for a game that you already play with your friends, so now you got other people who are doing the same thing as you.
The team I currently play with now, I didn't know any of them when we first started, but now every time we group up, we always laugh, we have something to joke about, we can always just talk to each other and play a game.
The friends and good times are definite perks, but these teams aren't clubs for casual gaming. These players are eligible for scholarships, and just like on-the-field college athletes, that means regular practice and getting passing grades. But another big draw of esports is that anyone who has the skills and puts in the work has a shot at the big leagues.
It doesn't matter how old you are, it's all about how good you are. So in theory, anybody could really join an esports team. I think that's fantastic.
In Neosho, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
According to SafeBettingSites.com, esports are projected to generate more than $1 billion in revenue in 2021. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. It's Travel and Tourism Week, and we hear from visitjoplin.mo on what the economy's impact traveling around the 4 states. Plus, India reported a 14th day of more than 300,000 coronavirus infections on Wednesday. We'll have the latest, but first, it's 5:37.
Temperatures already in the high 40s, low 50s, so we're going to top out in the high 60s this afternoon. Really, the only thing to pay attention to is wind. It's calm right now, but it's going to come in from the northwest, give us some 20-mile-per-hour gusts. No red flag warnings or wind advisories, nothing of that nature. Just something to be apprised of as we work throughout the course of the day. Overnight, the sky is going to be clear as can be after sunset at 8:12, set up for a warming trend into the weekend. Get very isolated chances for rain. Majority of the 4 states going to stay dry for Thursday and Friday. Saturday night is when we get a little bit more widespread, and that carries us into Mother's Day. But Mother's Day afternoon and evening, we're going to clear right off and get some sunshine before it's all said and done. We'll be back with World Watch next.
Topping World Watch, India's COVID-19 crisis shows no signs of slowing down. Hospitals across the region continue to face an oxygen shortage as the death toll climbs. Greg Pelcott has more.
COVID-19 scare hits the G7 meeting in London on Wednesday. India's top diplomat and his team had to self-isolate after 2 members tested positive for the virus. The incident comes as India's second COVID-19 wave worsens. The country reported its 14th straight day of more than 300,000 new infections on Wednesday. Across the region, hospitals are scrambling for more oxygen to accommodate the growing number of patients. And one scientist warns a third wave is inevitable.
Hopefully, incrementally, but we should prepare for new waves.
More than 220,000 people have died from COVID-19 in India, some while waiting for hospital bed space and oxygen. The country is now converting trains and hotels into overflow facilities to treat more people.
You have to set up hospitals quickly, doctors in, nurses in,
ICUs, ventilators, and keep that in a certain area where the numbers are among the highest for a couple of months.
Oxygen units and ventilators are on their way from around the globe, but a shortage of vaccines remains a problem. Just over 2% of India's total population has been fully vaccinated. Demand is now outpacing supply.
We can't do anything about the crowd. Those aged 18 to 45 are youth. They are the largest demography.
World Health Organization officials say that India accounted for nearly half of worldwide infections last week. A 25-year-old woman from Mali gives birth to 9 babies. Wow, a surprise to the mother, Halima Sissi, and her family, as it was 2 more than doctors had detected during scans. According to Mali's Minister of Health and the Moroccan clinic where the nonuplets were born, Sissi gave birth to 5 girls and 4 boys by cesarean section. The birth appears to be one for the record books. Currently, a woman who had 8 babies in the U.S. holds the record for the most children delivered at a single birth to survive. Wow. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Let's toss it over to Michael for something to talk about.
Thank you, Tanya. This morning on the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll, for more than a decade, Bitcoin dominated the cryptocurrency world. But a new coin is soaring in price and emerging as the next big thing in digital currency. Ethereum, or Ether for short, has seen its price quadruple this year. Now on Monday, Ether topped 3,000 for the first time ever. That's more than 350% gain this year. Ether is also the main currency of choice used to buy non-fungible tokens known as NFTs. These are digital assets popular in the arts and sports collectible world, and while some financial experts warn that just like Bitcoin did in 2017, Ether may have risen too much and too fast. So a major plunge could be possible, financial analysts say. Many adopters say they're cautiously optimistic. Our question for you this morning is, would you be willing to pay for things using cryptocurrency? Came out of the gate soaring at 100%. Right now, it's still at 90%. You guys saying no, no way, please. Only 5% saying yes, and I don't know, 5% of you like me. I don't know. If you're gonna give me an option, maybe I don't have one. You can always let your voice be heard. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote, and also you can leave comments on our Facebook page. Be back with the news you need to know for you head out the door right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The CDC is predicting a sharp drop in COVID-19 cases and deaths by the end of July if more people get vaccinated. The Biden administration announced support for a plan to temporarily suspend the vaccine's patent protections in order to allow other countries to produce their own. Facebook extends its suspension of former President Trump, whose account was banned after the January 6th Capitol Hill riot. Facebook's oversight board said comments the former President Trump made the situation more dangerous. The board also called the suspension vague and said it should be reconsidered within 6 months. The Joplin Police Department investigates a fire that happened early yesterday morning on South Florida Avenue. The fire department says when crews arrived, they found the single-story house with fire and smoke showing. Crews put it out quickly. No one was hurt. Authorities say someone was inside, but they escaped safely. Cherokee County's K-9 unit and deputies are a little safer thanks to a donation from Spike's K-9 Fund. The fund donated an Ace K-9 Hot and Pop Pro and Heat alarm for Deputy Nate Jones and his K-9 partner Bear. The equipment allows a deputy to monitor the temperature in his car and turn on the AC or roll down the windows if things get too hot. It also allows Deputy Jones to remotely open the back doors of his patrol unit if he needs to get Bear out quickly in an emergency situation. The equipment is valued at more than $1,300. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Nice, clear morning. Skies are just absolutely gorgeous right now. Good shot of the moon and the stars, and it's not as chilly as what it was yesterday. This is about a 10 to 14 degree difference as far as it being warmer Thursday morning than what it was Wednesday. 49 in Joplin, 51 in Independence, 52 right now in Nevada, and 46 in Miami. As far as our day planner goes, plenty of sunshine today. Best shot for rain is going to be a little bit to the north in between 10, 11 a.m. and it's going to fly right out of here. Not going to stick around, not widespread. Overnight, clear skies, wind calming down, and sunset will be 8:12. And overnight's going to be similar in nature to what we had last night into this morning. Absolutely nothing to worry about. Friday afternoon is when we got a little shot for rain in the southern portion of the 4 states. But I tell you what, it's just going to fly right through once again. Majority of the 4 states is going to stay dry here for Thursday and Friday. Now, Saturday, not only is it warmer, but we begin to pick up some thunderstorm activity Saturday evening and night, carries us into Mother's Day morning. But after we're done with our showers on Mother's Day morning, we clear off and we're looking at just a marvelous afternoon and evening with Mom. Be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. We find ourselves in the midst of National Travel and Tourism Week, and that's why we are kind enough to be joined this morning by Kirsten Landwehr. Kirsten of Visit Joplin Mo. It's an easy website to find, visitjoplinmo.com. Kirsten, I want to thank you for your time. This is a nationwide week, but I want to focus on our largest city in the 4 states, that of course being one Joplin, Missouri. When it comes time for us to be able to travel, and now that we're getting back into things, what is the economic impact going to be as far as not only Joplin, but the entire surrounding area now that we're able to attract visitors?
Yeah, it's huge. And I also want folks to remember that for every visitor that comes in and uses facilities here or eats or shops, that's tax dollars that are being funneled into our local economy that we as residents are not having to pay. So that helps raise our tax base. So locally, we're paying less. But what that looks like is in 2018, for example, we saw over 20,000 visitors from about many, many different countries all around the world, which brought in about $5.4 million in business to the 4-state area here.
What are you experiencing here, say the last month or so, compared to where we were last year? Last year, obviously, we were all stuck in our homes. Where and what places are you seeing the bump right now? Why are people interested in coming, particularly right now?
Well, there's something that they're calling revenge travel. And that is because last year, since we couldn't go anywhere, this year, now that we can, we're doing it with a vengeance. And we have already seen that locally. In the last couple of weeks, we've already had 2 bus tours that have come through that we have hosted, and given tours to. And I'll tell you what we're seeing on those buses is that everybody's vaccinated. They have to be before they're able to go on the tour. And then they're all wearing their masks all the time. So the tour companies are being very mindful of how they can get these folks who are ready to go, get them out there and traveling again.
When it comes to people wanting to visit Joplin, Missouri, what are some of the number one, what are some of the highlights that they look for when it comes to visiting our area? And then number 2, I'm going to kind of put you on the spot. How do you sell Joplin to people that, maybe have said, I've heard of it, I know where it is. How do you sell them on the idea to come visit us?
Well, first of all, the hot spots are going to be Route 66, which is huge. And last year, we really saw a lot of folks that were unable to do their larger destination vacations turning to the Great American Road Trip, which does include Route 66. And Joplin is key to that experience. And then another piece of it is Bonnie and Clyde. Everybody wants to know our Bonnie and Clyde story. And plus, we just have some really great natural treasures here. So we'll get folks that are doing bike tours, motorcycle tours, that are wanting to do hiking. So we're really lucky we have a lot to offer those folks.
And you have a marvelous website as well, because sometimes we take our own backyard for granted, and you talk about the entertainment, the dining, the shopping, and the history. Go ahead and plug the website for National Travel and Tourism Week, just so we remember where to go as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's www.visitjoplin.com, and you'll find everything, pretty much every listing in the Joplin city limits that is dining, shopping, nightlife, coffee bars, all sorts of fun stuff to do, as well as our major draws, things like George Washington Carver National Monument, fun stuff that anybody can do. So be a tourist in your own backyard. It's something that you don't get to do very often.
Kirsten Landwehr of Visit Joplin Mo. Kirsten, I want to thank you for your time, and I want to thank you for all that you do for the entire four-state area here as far as attracting those tourists and letting them know just what a great place we have.
We do, and I love doing it, and because it is such an easy sell. Thank you so much.
Kirsten Landwehr. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News for you right after this.
Don't let the change.
Throwing up a couple 51s already in Fort Scott, Chanute, and Independence. Joplin sits at 49, and Miami and Monette at 46. Still going to be able to make it up into the high 60s today. A little northwest wind going to pick up, and any shot we have for showers, say, in between 10, 11 up to the north and fly right through. Certainly nothing severe, and we're not going to have any accumulation. Majority of the four states just perfectly dry. It's going to be a delightful Thursday. Next shot for rain, Friday afternoon. Southern portion of the four states, but like today, it's going to fly right through, and then we get a nice warm weekend.
Area senior centers are reopening after being closed for more than a year. What they're doing to keep visitors safe. Plus, the state of Kansas is making changes to its unemployment benefits site, how Pittsburgh State was affected by fraudulent unemployment claims, and Joplin police investigate a house fire.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We've got another sunny but maybe a little chilly day today with a chance of rain. Michael Hayslip joins us with a first look at the forecast.
I don't think anybody's going to be complaining though when we get up Saturday and we get all the humidity and it's 80 degrees. I'll be hearing about that one, mark my words. Live look outside of Television City. Great looking Thursday morning start. 48 right now in Joplin. Now we got 52 up in Independence. 48 in both Lamar and in Carthage. And we stay on the clear side, thanks in part to a couple high pressure systems up to our northwest that are just removing any clouds, any precipitation. Look at it. If you just go up that way, everything just clear as can be. No worry about the wind. It's nice and calm right now. By the time we get into the afternoon hours, we're talking about high 60s. Probably see a 70 every now and then as you move down to the south. Let's talk about what we've got coming up for today, tomorrow, and then head into Mother's Day. So everything really doesn't get organized until it gets on the other side of the Mississippi. So we're going to be just fine for this afternoon. Nighttime, little cloud emergence there out to the west. Watch this thing sprint through for tomorrow afternoon, in and out of here. So hardly any accumulation with that. I know everybody wants to talk about the weekend because you got to take care of mom and whatnot. So here we are on Saturday. Saturday morning we're fine. And this Saturday evening we begin, start to roll in right there. So if you got plans Saturday, try to get them done a little bit early. Now, for Mother's Day, trying to take this forward there. For Mother's Day, we start off wet, but look, everything severe stays way to our north. We're just going to have some showers right there. And then by the time we get into the afternoon, this thing's pushing off to the east. And so if you've got Mother's Day plans and you can hold them off until the afternoon and evening hours, it's going to be absolutely perfect. Look at those temperatures, Tanya, over the weekend. 80, and then that front rolls through. 70, still warmer than what we've had this week. And then 60s next week.
It'll feel like summer this weekend.
Especially when that humidity from the Gulf moisture kicks in. Yeah,
for sure.
It will.
All right, we'll look forward to that. All right, thanks, Michael. Area senior centers are reopening after being closed for more than a year. KOAM's Zach Dodge has what they're doing to keep visitors safe and how excited those visitors are to get back into the centers.
Up and down and swung behind.
Arm curls and leg lifts.
9.
Working up a sweat and getting the blood flowing.
We need to exercise. We've sat and gone to the refrigerator was our exercise.
Visitors at the Webb City Senior Center were able to finally get back to their exercise group. For Connie Morris, it's the first time she's been in the center for more than a year.
Well, we're just thrilled to come back, see all of our friends.
Area Agency on Aging has reopened senior centers in Jasper, Newton, Barton, and McDonald County after they were closed for more than a year during the pandemic.
We were terribly excited to do so. We have missed our folks desperately.
And to say the ladies in Carl Junction are excited may be an understatement.
And I really did miss it. And all of these people. It is wonderful. It is good to see old friendly faces again.
But that's not to say some things haven't changed. Social distancing and mask wearing is being encouraged. Visitors are asked to call ahead for activities because capacities are being limited, and only certain activities are happening on each day.
We cover 4 counties, so COVID positivity rates can vary drastically. We did the best that we could to try to come up with an initial schedule. What it might look like in June is still up in the air.
Even with the changes, visitors like Julia D'Amano Moore are happy to see their friends again in person and get to do something as simple as give someone a hug. Things that make life feel a little more normal.
I've missed that as much as I've missed being able to visit with people, because that's part of who I am.
It just feels wonderful just to get out of the house and be around my friends and everybody up here I just love.
In Jasper County, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
Since each of the centers has its own schedule, that could differ from the others. The Agency on Aging asks that you call ahead to see what their schedule is. COVID-19 long haulers are reporting some surprising symptoms. According to the Nevada Regional Medical Center, an estimated 10 to 30% of COVID-19 survivors experience long-haul symptoms that include brain fog and swallowing difficulties. The NRMC speech-language pathologist Andrea Wydick is encouraging those patients who experience issues with cognition and swallowing to seek out care from qualified experts.
To strengthen the tongue, the lips, the cheeks, the neck muscles in order to improve the swallow. And then we can also use those same muscles and some of those strengthening techniques to help them to be able to pronunciate their words.
Speech-language pathologists work in settings that include hospitals, long and short-term care facilities, private practices, and patients' homes. The Kansas Department of Labor is beginning to recover after fraudulent unemployment claims swept the state last year. The state had to shut down its unemployment benefits site due to the number of fraudulent claims coming through the state. Estimates from an audit conducted earlier this year suggest upwards of $600 million paid out by Kansas in fraudulent unemployment claims. Those claims even impacted Pittsburgh State University.
We did receive notice. We immediately reached out to the employee just in case they did not get a notification. In some cases they did not. So we made sure and made personal contact with them. We gave them what was called a unemployment insurance fraud guide.
Dreiling says fortunately the university has not directly paid any fraudulent unemployment claims. Area tribes are pitching in to help PSU train the 4 states' next generation of child care providers. The Miami, Ottawa, and Shawnee tribe are making an annual $600,000 contribution to the university. That money will fund scholarships for students enrolled in one of 2 early childhood programs at PSU.
Always a need for early childhood development. I think the importance has been highlighted, especially since the pandemic, when people are realizing how important child care workers are and how much early childhood teachers do.
The contributions will be made for 2 years. Montgomery County, Kansas deputies arrest the suspect in an Independence, Kansas bank robbery. Authorities say the robbery happened around 1 yesterday afternoon at the Equity Bank in Independence. Later, a deputy was directing traffic near an accident and saw the suspect's vehicle drive by, so the deputy gave chase. Eventually, the suspect lost control of his vehicle and ran, but was arrested. Formal charges have not yet been filed. 6:07.
I was pushing through into the weekend here, checking out Future Track. Just kind of rewinded and going back and forth. So today we're going to make it up into the high 60s. It's going to be great. And then clearing off of it's just a gorgeous afternoon. And then we've got a little development of some cloud cover here. That's that high resolution cloud cover. Gives you an idea how that moves in for Friday afternoon. And that just kind of runs right through. So not a whole lot of rain associated with that one on Friday either. Now Saturday night is when it gets a little bit more widespread because that's going to carry us into Mother's Day. But still, I'm saying 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we should be done on Mother's Day. And afternoon and evening are looking great.
That's great.
You can cook out for Mom. How about that?
Ooh, that sounds great. Hear that, boys? Cook out for Mom. Would be nice. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, gas prices on the rise.
Gas is in high demand with the summer driving season approaching, but some stations may see a slowdown in fuel deliveries. I'm Michelle Medina, and I'll tell you why.
Plus, health officials signal a possible bright light at the end of the tunnel. The latest data showing the U.S. is making big strides to defeat the coronavirus. And we introduce and learn about our new sponsor, Downstream Casino, who helps us honor our 4 state heroes every day. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. In Money Watch this morning, with more Americans hitting the road, gas prices are on the rise. At the same time, there are concerns gas deliveries could be slowed because of a trucker shortage. Nichelle Medina reports.
Xavier Franklin is taking classes to become a professional truck driver. And new truckers like him are in high demand. The president of Roadmaster Drivers School says there is a shortage right now.
A lot of drivers were retiring early during COVID that were planning to retire in the next few years. So suddenly the supply shrunk, the demand grew.
Adding to the problem, many driving schools shut down during the pandemic, then had to implement social distancing rules when they reopened. Western Truck School in Sacramento has half the students they usually do.
We've had to schedule our training out farther because of the number of people that are allowed inside the truck.
The trucker shortage is expected to impact the delivery of goods this summer, including gas. Fuel prices plummeted last year during the height of the pandemic, but now things are returning to normal levels.
We're not seeing a shortage. What we're seeing is a delay in deliveries, which has impacted a small number of markets in the past month.
AAA's Jeanette McGee says refineries have plenty of gas and prices shouldn't go up much higher this summer. But getting fuel to the pumps is taking a little longer. That could lead to tight supplies in a few places.
It's more likely to happen in spots that are popular travel destinations like beaches and like mountains.
McGee says there's no reason to worry too much. There might be scattered shortages in the coming months, but it will still be easy to find gas and fill up. Nichelle Medina, CBS News, San Diego.
Peloton is recalling its treadmills following the death of a 6-year-old child and more than 24 injuries to kids. Users will get a full refund if they return it, or they can have Peloton move the treadmill to a location where children and pets cannot get to it. The company is also implementing a software update that will require a code to unlock the treadmill. Memorabilia from legendary sports stars goes up for auction. The high school jersey worn by LeBron James is among 500 sports items to be auctioned off in July. Other items include signed jerseys, game balls, sports shoes, and a coveted baseball card. Julian's auction says LeBron's green and white jersey could go for over $500,000. It was the last jersey he wore before his career with the Cleveland Cavaliers, Miami Heat, and Los Angeles Lakers. That's it for Money Watch. Let's toss it over to Michael for a look at the forecast.
Should have been an Ohio State jersey. Not that Jim O'Brien didn't try, just LeBron was just a little too good for that whole college thing. Our weather almanac for this May 6th. This is kind of interesting because we're up for the month precipitation-wise. We're down for the year. But remember how historically wet last year was? We're 7 inches below where we were at 2020 on May the 6th. And that's something else. We had 7 more inches of rain at this point in time just 1 year ago. Current conditions outside of Television City, 48 degrees. Look at that, a little bit of a wind chill in effect, as a matter of fact. That's absolutely perfect outside, though. It's delightful. 48 in Joplin, 50 in Pittsburgh, 46 in Miami. Let's roll 51 right now in Nevada. Comparatively speaking to where we were at this point in time yesterday, double digits abound, so much nicer. I had that chill in the air yesterday. Wind calming down. Quite variable, actually. We've kind of seen the arrows just spin around. And with high pressure systems hanging out to our northwest, we're the recipients of a whole lot of clear sky and sunshine. It's going to force everything to the east right there. We will be paying attention to a low pressure system. It's going to make its way over the Rockies, but that's for the weekend. As far as Thursday and Friday go, temperatures up into the high 60s. We'll see some 70s as well. Joplin Regional topped out at 71 yesterday. And then overnight, our winds calmed down and sunset at 8:12. Not going to see anything worth noting as far as rain goes, and we're going to clear out for the afternoon and evening hours. A little bit of cloud cover emerges there on Friday. Rain wants to just whoosh, roll right through. Majority of the 4 states stays dry, and then we set up for a Saturday and a Sunday, where Saturday evening we have the emergence of some thunderstorms that carry us into Mother's Day right there. But really, Mother's Day afternoon into the evening and nighttime hours, that's when it's going to clear off and take her out to supper. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's a very special interview this morning. We find ourselves at Downstream Casino. Each and every day on each of our newscasts, on KOAM and Fox 14, we have had the privilege to honor our 4-state heroes, those great men and women who have served our country in our military. And we've got a brand new proud partner that we would like to introduce and thank them for being a part of our 4-state hero program, and that is, of course, Downstream Casino. We're fortunate enough to be joined by Barry Linda of Downstream. Barry, number one,
yes,
all of us at KOAM and Fox 14 want to thank you for the casino and the tribe supporting our 4-state heroes.
Well, all of us at Downstream Casino Resort and the KOAM Nation want to thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to be a part of this. 4 states heroes, to me, isn't a strong enough word for what the sacrifices that these people made in their lives for us, so that we could get up early, come have some fun, and do what we do.
And it's amazing too. One of the things that I didn't know is the outreach, the community support, and the offers that you have here at the casino for our 4-state heroes, our 4-state veterans.
That's right. Well, the KOAM Nation and Downstream Casino Resort, we market ourselves as pillars in the community. And with that comes a social responsibility to do things for our community and reach out to our partners. And most of all, support people like our veterans. We offer veterans cards specifically for veterans. We give discounts in our food outlets for veterans, and we celebrate them at various points of the year. Memorial Day, Labor Day, giving them free meals, and we're going to have celebrations as we partner with KOAM this year to really show the veterans that we are so grateful for the sacrifices that they made in their lives, so we could do what we do every single day in America.
You know, it's interesting you bring that up, because we talk about that community outreach and the partnership that we now have with Downstream Casino and our 4-state heroes. I understand we got concerts, we got entertainment, we've got a variety of activities and events that are going to be upcoming now.
That's right. Slowly, we're getting back to normal.
Right.
And with that outdoor entertainment, we'll be back here at Downstream Casino Resort, and we're proud to partner with you guys. We're going to have appreciation tents at those events and things like that for all the veterans to come out, and just a chance for us to say thank you in person and have a good time at those events as we slowly get back to normal.
And we talk about all of our 4-state heroes throughout the entire 4 states, and certainly there are a ton of tribal members that have served in our United States military. And you actually have a personal story. I didn't know about this until you and I were chatting before the interview. I know this gives you a very unique opportunity. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about your grandfather.
Well, my grandfather was a World War II veteran. And that was one of the proudest things in his life, was that he got to defend America. He got to come over, and he told the stories of fighting in World War II and fighting for America. And he passed away a couple years ago, and the thought really resonated with me that the greatest generation is slowly but surely going away. So we need to take every single opportunity, every single day that we have an opportunity to celebrate these people and showcase them. We need to do that, because it's the greatest generation, and they're not going to be here forever. And that really set in and resonated with me when my grandfather passed away.
Barry, couldn't put it any better, my man.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you. We at KOAM and Fox 14 appreciate everybody here at Downstream Casino for now being one of our proud partners in our 4-state hero program. And remember, it's easy enough for you to nominate a family member, a friend, a relative, anybody. Just go to KOAMnewsnow.com and click on our 4-state heroes link. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, when will the U.S. return to normal? The CDC says it could be sooner than you think. And new data as new data shows the country is making promising progress towards preventing the spread of coronavirus. Kevin Cork reports.
We are not out of the woods yet, but we could be very close.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention now estimates new COVID-19 cases and deaths are expected to plummet by this summer.
The models projected a sharp decline in cases by July.
This projection based on new data from 6 groups of researchers, each examining different virus scenarios based on vaccination rates and social distancing regulations. Based on the current trajectory of the vaccine rollout, the most positive findings predict new COVID cases could fall from 350,000 each week to under 50,000 by July. And COVID-related deaths could soon be 200 a week instead of the current 4,000. Meanwhile, some government officials say this is only possible if pharmaceutical companies share the intellectual properties of their vaccines with other countries to help ensure COVID variants abroad don't threaten progress made here in the U.S.
Until the world is fully vaccinated, the United States is not out of the pandemic.
As more folks get the shots, cities like Chicago are announcing the return of live events, including summer concerts. Most, however, will only be open to those who are fully vaccinated.
The Open Chicago announcements that we've made to date are only the beginning of our targeted efforts to safely reopen our city.
To help eliminate roadblocks, the Biden administration is continuing to urge states to create more opportunities for walk-in vaccine appointments. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And with temperatures in the high 40s, low 50s to begin our Thursday, we are in store for a delightful early May Thursday, because that's sunshine and mid 60s. Not too hot. I don't have the chill in the air like what we did yesterday. We will see an uptick in the northwest wind. It'll come in 10-15 miles per hour here this afternoon, so don't be surprised if you don't experience some 20 to 25 mile an hour gusts. But we're going to stay on the dry side for today. Any shot of rain that we do see going to be to the north and going to last, about 5 minutes as it rolls through your town. Same thing with Friday, except it'll be to the south, and then we warm up headed into Mother's Day weekend. How about an 80 on Saturday with the emergence of thunderstorm activity for Saturday night?
Area senior centers are reopening after being closed for more than a year. What they're doing to keep visitors safe. Plus, the state of Kansas is making changes to its unemployment benefits site, how Pittsburgh State was affected by fraudulent unemployment claims, and Joplin police investigate a house fire.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach. Another sunny but cool day outside today to enjoy. Michael Hayslip joins us with a first look at the forecast.
See that, Tanya? I was just finishing up the SKYWATCH weather app and figured it was about time to break out the old fresh air forecast, as we like to call it, when you get a day like today. Look at the great shot outside of Television City as the sun, as it comes over the horizon there, turning our satellite arrays a little bit orange. Just absolutely gorgeous. Temperatures right now, 48 in Joplin, 50 in Independence, 51 in Nevada, 46 in Miami. As SKYWATCH Storm Tracker, even the residual coming off the sweeping radar is starting to calm down. That's absolutely glorious right there. Don't worry about the wind right now. We won't even fret about it. It will pick up though this afternoon, but it's really what makes a huge difference in our temperatures, being a good 10 to 12 degrees warmer this morning than what it was yesterday. Sunny skies, highs in the 60s. Not going to be surprised if we don't see a 70, 71 by the time it's all said and done. Joplin Regional got to 71 yesterday, as a matter of fact. Clearing off, no cloud cover even to worry about until we get to Friday. And that emergence of cloud cover brings just this, watch this thing run through. Whoop, there it goes. In and out. Not going to be anything severe, nothing to worry about. Saturday, though, Saturday is where we kind of changed our tune for Saturday night, as we will have some thunderstorm activity that's going to carry us into Mother's Day morning and around the noon hour. But then, after those roll through and get on the other side of the Ozarks, we're going to have a great looking Mother's Day afternoon and evening.
All right. Sounds like we're in for a pretty decent rest of the week.
Saturday afternoon could be a little steamy there. Our not to geek out, our infamous precipitable water that I like to talk about, we're going to pick up some good Gulf moisture here on Saturday and throw that thing up to 80 degrees. It's going to be a little humid out there.
All right, be ready for it. Time to pull out the shorts and the tank top. Put away the long underwear finally, Michael. Well, maybe not. You'll want it next week. You might want it for those 45.
Overnight lows are not consistently 50.
True. Yeah,
I was actually in shorts and a t-shirt yesterday. I promise.
What?
Never mind.
This is, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. All right, thanks, Michael. More senior citizens get to see friends again as senior centers reopen. The Area Agency on Aging has reopened senior centers in Jasper, Newton, McDonald, and Barton counties. And there are some changes. Visitors are asked to social distance and wear masks. Capacities are limited and activities are happening on only certain days of the week. And even with changes, visitors are happy to be back.
Just thrilled to come back, see all of our friends.
I kept telling them, well, you know, as long as we don't, you know, get too close to each other, it ought to be all right. And I really did miss it. And all of these people. Up, been down, and swung behind. 11.
Since each of the centers has its own schedule that could differ from the others, Agency on Aging asks that you call ahead to see what their schedule is. State of Kansas makes changes to its unemployment benefits site to stop fraudulent unemployment claims from being filed. Before those changes, several $100 million were paid out to scammers, and a number of places across the state, including Pittsburgh State University, were impacted by the false claims. KOAM's Chris Warner spoke with Pitt State's HR director about how they found out and what they did.
The week of May 17, 2020, Pittsburgh State University has a claim filed for unemployment. PSU's Director of Human Resources, Lori Scott Dreiling, says more began to come in.
They came in trickling at the beginning and then started pouring it in September, October. November was our biggest month with, actually I know the number, 115 individual claims for Pitt State faculty and staff in November.
As the claims came in, Dreiling says they knew right away something wasn't right.
So we knew they were fraudulent because we had no one on layoff or furlough ever during the pandemic.
They had to contact each employee that had supposedly filed a claim. Then they told the employee they were the victim of fraud.
We gave them what was called a unemployment insurance fraud guide.
The state of Kansas ultimately took the unemployment benefits site offline so it could be revamped.
The state of Kansas initiated a two-tiered technology software the first week in February, and we have only had, I think we had 7 cases in February and none since February 17th.
According to the Kansas Department of Labor, since the extra security was implemented, it's blocked nearly 7 million bots and fraudulent login attempts into the system. As for the money that was paid to the scammers, that's being handled at the federal level. But for the university,
our quarterly statements are clear, meaning that no money was paid out and we're not going to have to deal with reimbursements or anything like that. So that's good news.
In Pittsburgh, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Dreiling says the university learned a lot from this process, and while she's hopeful they don't have to deal with fraudulent claims in the future, they're prepared if it happens again. Joplin Police Department investigates a fire that happened early yesterday morning on South Florida Avenue. The fire department says when crews arrived, they found the single-story house with fire and smoke showing. Crews put it out quickly. No one was hurt. Authorities say someone was inside, but they escaped safely. Montgomery County, Kansas deputies arrest the suspect in an Independence, Kansas bank robbery. Authorities say the robbery happened around 1 yesterday afternoon at the Equity Bank in Independence. Later, a deputy was directing traffic near an accident and saw the suspect's vehicle drive by, so the deputy gave chase. Eventually, the suspect lost control of his vehicle and ran, but was arrested. Formal charges have not been filed. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, the decision to re-evaluate.
The verdict on whether to keep President Trump off of Facebook has been punted to the social media giant's leadership. I'm Laura Podesto with more from one of the board members who helped make that decision.
Plus, for our Something to Talk About, we're asking, would you be willing to pay for things using cryptocurrency? We let you weigh in, but first, it's 6:37.
Couldn't pay anything for a better Thursday than what we're going to have. Not going to be too hot, not going to be too chilly. Temperatures high 60s, low 70s. A little northwest wind picks up. Clear skies overnight, drops us back down to the 40s. And really nothing to complain about until, and I don't even know if we can complain, because the rain's not going to kick in until, thunderstorms really not going to kick in until Saturday night. And by the time we get to Mother's Day afternoon and evening, they're going to roll out of here. We'll be back with Nation Watch next.
My name is...
Topping Nation Watch this morning, one of the members of Facebook's oversight board is speaking out following the decision to reevaluate former President Trump's suspension at a later date. CBS News' Laura Podesta tells us what comes next.
And funded by Facebook, ruled the social media giant was justified in initially removing then-President Donald Trump from the platform for posts during the insurrection of the Capitol. But it punted the decision back to Facebook leadership to decide whether that ban should remain permanently. The former Prime Minister of Denmark, who co-chairs the board, spoke with CBS this morning.
It was right of Facebook to remove the content on the 7th of January, but it wasn't right of Facebook to just create a penalty.
The board gave the company 6 months to either permanently ban Mr. Trump or set a date to end his suspension.
We love you. You're very special.
The board said that post and one other from the day of the deadly attack on the Capitol severely violated Facebook and Instagram standards. Republicans have called censoring Mr. Trump a violation of his First Amendment rights.
A number of members of Congress are now looking at, do they break up Facebook?
The White House wouldn't comment specifically on the ruling, but insists safeguards should be in place on all social media sites.
The president's view is that the major platforms have a responsibility related to the health and safety of all Americans to stop amplifying untrustworthy content, disinformation, and misinformation.
Mr. Trump on his new blog posted, "Free speech has been taken away from the President of the United States because the radical left lunatics are afraid of the truth. These corrupt social media companies must pay a political price." Laura Podesta, CBS News.
You can catch more of what the former Prime Minister of Denmark and co-chair of the Oversight Board had to say in his interview with CBS This Morning's Tony DeCopel later this morning. Republicans have renewed their effort to oust Liz Cheney from her position as the House Conference Chair. The Wyoming Congresswoman has come under attack within the party since she voted to impeach President Trump. Cheney is urging her colleagues to steer away from what she called the Trump cult of personality. That's a look at today's top national stories. Let's check back in with Michael for our Something to Talk About.
This morning on the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll. For more than a decade, Bitcoin dominated the cryptocurrency world, but a new coin is now soaring in price and emerging as the next big thing in digital currency. It's called Ethereum, Ether for short, if you will. It's seen its price quadruple this year. Now on Monday, get this, Ether topped 3,000 for the first time ever, a more than 350% gain this year. It's only May. Ether also the main currency of choice used to buy non-fungible tokens known as NFTs. Those are digital assets that are really popular when it comes to arts and sports collectibles. And while some financial experts warn that just like Bitcoin did in 2017, Ether may have risen too much and too fast, and a major plunge is possible. Of course, many adopters of Ether say they're cautiously optimistic. Simply put, our question for you is, would you be willing to pay for things using cryptocurrency? Now, we've seen the no's come down just a little bit, but it's still an overwhelming 78% saying no, and at the same point in time, it's been the yeses that had the biggest jump at 13%. Maybe, I understand, kind of like you, I'm kind of on the maybe crew, just right in the middle of the road. See where it takes us. You can make your voice heard either by going to the KOAM News Now Facebook page or our morning Insta poll where you can vote. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. We'll be back and celebrate birthdays and anniversaries next.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Charles Gregg. who served in the United States Army from 1941 to 1945 in World War II. His hometown, Iola, Kansas. We are proud to salute Charles Gregg, our 4th state hero.
Jaslyn Folk, who's celebrating her 7th birthday. Jaslyn, a very beautiful picture, and a happy birthday to you in Oswego.
Also in Oswego, Addie Heflin turns 12 years old this year. Happy birthday, Addie.
This can't be right. Can we double check the age on this, please?
Already a teenager.
Kinsey, number 1, happy birthday. Number 2, no, I was gonna give her a hard time and say, I don't know how you made it to 13. No, she's a marvelous kid. You're a heck of a ball player, but you're even a better person, Kinsey. Know that the Hayslips love you, kiddo, and I look forward to seeing you now that we can get back on the field and forget last year happened. Happy birthday, Kinzer, in Altamont.
Madison Wren, happy birthday, love mom, and the Big Brothers out in Stark City, turning 13 years old.
Break out the driver's license and make it official. Samuel Perkins Hall, now 16 years old. And Samuel, I want you to know that this comes with love from Aunt Charity, Samuel in Pittsburgh.
All right. Braylee Connard, celebrating birthday number 18 this year. Looks like a fun senior pick there. Braylee is in Chautauqua.
Taylor Bruning, no longer a teenager, because we got a big 2-0 on the board. A happy birthday to you, Taylor, in Girard.
In Mapleton, Kansas, turning 28, it's time to celebrate for Taylor Northcutt.
Haley Troxel, she is on your left right there. She is celebrating her 41st birthday. Haley, happy birthday in Chanute.
All right. And we've got Julie Thomas, turning the big 5-0 this year. Happy birthday to Julie in Columbus.
All right, we got a pair of twins here that we're going to celebrate. We're going to start with Anita Cruz, who's turning 57. And if Anita's 57, that means Juanita, her sister, Juanita Tanner, also 57. A very happy birthday to Anita and Juanita. They are in Parsons.
All right. And Stephanie Henry.
Nice catch.
All right. Miss Henry, happy birthday to you. We thank you for all you do. It says here she's a board-certified lactation consultant at Neosho County Health Department.
People don't realize the importance that board-certified lactation consultants have when it comes to new mothers, and usually the services they provide not only are for the extreme importance of the infant, but also the health of the infant, the health and safety of the mother, but it's usually a free service as well. Stephanie, I want to thank you for your role in doing that. I want everybody to realize the importance that lactation consultants have when it comes to raising children. Renee Brown, a happy birthday to you in St. Paul, as she is already ready for football season.
Apparently, Nikki Rosensteel is 21 again.
Like, why do I have a feeling that when May the 6th comes around next year, it's going to be Nikki Rosensteel is 21. I love it. Kent and Marilyn Holt, they are celebrating, get this, their 70th anniversary. Congratulations to Kent and Marilyn. That is an amazing achievement. They are celebrating in Uniontown. Party in the U, right there. Everybody go tell them happy anniversary.
All right.
Elaine Reynolds, a happy birthday in Columbus. Mike Broadwater, happy birthday to you in Joplin. And Todd Murdoch, celebrating number 56. Mr. Todd is in Columbus. Happy birthday, happy anniversary to all. Here's T-Bach with a very important birthday announcement.
That's right. You can be a part of the KOAM Birthday Club. All you have to do is go to our website and sign up. Once you do, you'll get special deals from local businesses. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today.
Start with temperatures ranging from the high 40s to the low 50s. Put that in comparison. That's a double-digit increase from what we experienced on Wednesday morning. Just absolutely cannot beat it when you walk outside because it's calm, it is clear, it is sunny, and it is gorgeous, thanks in part to high pressure hanging over the Midwest, stretching off to our northwest just about into Big Sky country. Make it up into the high 60s, even low 70s later on today. Any rain that we do see is going to skirt through the north. It's going to be a quick hitter, gone by the afternoon. Beautiful afternoon and evening here. And then for Friday, little development of some cloud cover. Another quick hitter runs right through, nothing widespread, nothing severe to worry about. Thunderstorm activity will occur Thursday evening into Sunday morning, but will clear off Sunday afternoon and evening just in time for Mother's Day. We'll be back, wrap up this edition of the KOAM Morning News right after this. One last look at our morning Insta poll and our KOAM News Now Facebook question dealt with Ethereum. It's new digital currency. Looks like it's going to overtake Bitcoin. Our simple question was, would you be willing to pay for things using cryptocurrency? An overwhelming 82% of you said no. I was going to say stone cold cash, but maybe, I don't know, maybe it's credit. Tanya, I got one for you. That maybe this is for your Michael's old man saying checklist. I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you to pop up there. What if I call cryptocurrency this newfangled technology?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yes.
Oh, that
Check another
newfangled
one.
technology.
Check another one off the list of Michael's old man sayings.
Oh, that is a good one. All right, well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The CDC predicts a sharp drop in COVID-19 cases and deaths by the end of July if more people get vaccinated. The Biden administration announced support for a plan to temporarily suspend the vaccine's patent protections in order to allow other countries to produce their own. Facebook extends its suspension of former President Trump, whose account was banned after the January 6th Capitol Hill riot. Facebook's oversight board said comments by the former President Trump made the situation more dangerous. The board also called the suspension vague and said it should be reconsidered within 6 months. The Joplin Police Department investigates a fire that happened early yesterday morning on South Florida Avenue. The fire department says when crews arrived, they found the single-story house with fire and smoke showing. Crews put it out quickly. No one was hurt. Authorities say someone was inside, but they escaped safely. Cherokee County's K-9 unit and deputies are a little safer thanks to a donation from Spike's K-9 Fund. The fund donated an Ace K-9 Hot and Pop Pro and Heat alarm for Deputy Nate Jones and his K-9 partner Bear. The equipment allows a deputy to monitor the temperature in his car and turn on the AC or roll down the windows if things get too hot. It also allows Deputy Jones to remotely open the back doors of his patrol unit if he needs to get Bear out quickly in an emergency situation. The equipment is valued at more than $1,300. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Thursday ahead, going to have sunny skies and temperatures pretty mild. It'll go high 60s, maybe even a low 70 every now and then. Any rain that we do see for either today or tomorrow is going to roll right through, not going to amount to anything. Really, next shot for thunderstorm activity is going to be Saturday night to carry us into Sunday morning. And once again, it should clear out by Mother's Day afternoon and evening.
Coming up today at noon, we're making a cheesy bacon pierogi bake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Mrs. Dunikowski, I know you can't hear me right now, but thank you so much for raising me with pierogies in my life, because as soon as it showed up on the teleprompter, I became Pavlov's dog over here.
And this one's in a bake.
Oh my gosh, I love pierogies.
Sounds like comfort food.
If anybody wants to make pierogies, and send Tanya a picture on Instagram.
Yes.
Or,
Gus,
I don't even know why I just went there.
Former producer Gus Bernetti, if your grandmother is watching, we'd love to have her return to the KOAM Morning News.
All right, flip on over and join us on Fox 14. Have a wonderful Thursday. Get outside, enjoy some fresh air, and do me a big favor. Be safe. We'll do this all again tomorrow morning.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.